stuck under 10K per month right now, the only thing that's standing in your way is your ability to have an offer that converts. But not even just that, but it's the fact that you're not following a system that allows that offer to convert. Well, one of the biggest tragedies I had in my business was the first few years when I was really trying to get this thing going. I was trying to get clients. I was trying to generate revenue, and my issue was I would be out doing a bunch of random activities with no specific goal in mind. Right? I would just say, okay, I'm waking up, and all right, let me just work on the business, and I had no specific outcomes of what I wanted to have in the business. I had no specific goals. I didn't really know what I was working towards. I didn't really know what I should be doing on a daily basis. You could have asked me, Coach T, what's your priorities? I want to know what priorities I have for the day. And that was just me randomly doing activity, thinking that I was doing something to get ahead. And really, if I'm really honest, it was just me being happy to work on a business. So today we're going to focus on three big ideas that's really going to allow you to build and grow this business past 5 figures a month. I've been able to do that my first year. Well, my first year taking it serious. It's been actually 5 years, but my first year taking it serious, that allowed us to be able to make $15,000 a month. And since then, we've been able to scale to over 588 coaching clients in our program. And I'm going to walk you through how I did that today. So here are the three big ideas we're going to focus on. Number one, we're going to discuss how I hit 5 figures a month without a complicated funnel. And I'm gonna walk you through the specific strategy that I walk our playmakers through. Number two, the one script that I use to sell confidently. And number three, how to scale without having a huge following. So first thing, how I had 5 figures a month without a complicated funnel. This happened back in 2020. My first 5 years, I really struggled trying to figure it out. I'm like most of us, where it's like, okay, am I really sure in terms of who I want to help? Do I really am I really confident in terms of being able to provide this service? I'm happy working on a business. I'm doing what I think I should do, which is the biggest killer of your business. Oh, I think I should work on the website, so I'm going to do that. I think I should work on the colors. I think I should do the logo. I think I should put out a little bit of content. I think I should go to networking events. And I was doing a bunch of things, but I did not have a proven system or strategy, which is why it took me so long to actually make things happen. But it wasn't until I started enrolling in these coaching programs and masterminds that I started to figure out and navigate and say, oh, actually, there is a best way to use my time. Because at first, if you're still towards the beginning where you're still really trying to figure this out, still trying to generate revenue, maybe you're still trying to put together your offer, or you've had a couple clients, but you haven't really had as much success as you wanted. I can tell you for a fact that a lot of it is you just happy to be doing something. You're happy to be doing some type of work. You feel like because you're putting in work, you feel like all activities are created equal, and it's not. It's really not. It wasn't until I understood this concept that it allowed me to start generating revenue. And it's empty calendar equals empty wallet. Empty calendar equals empty wallet. So that means that when your calendar is empty, that means that you will not generate any revenue. This is one of the biggest lessons that I've learned early on. It does not matter what you're doing in your business. If you are not meeting with people and presenting them with your offer in terms of how you can help them solve their problems, you will not generate any revenue. That's it. Hate it or love it. Whatever you want, but that's what it's going to take. So what's the strategy that I used and that I'm using with our clients? It's called the lead generation formula. The lead generation formula. And essentially it looks like this. People don't realize content is the thing that builds trust. People think that I'm putting out content to get clients. No, you actually don't put out content to get clients. You put out content for lead nurturing. You put out content to build trust. It's very seldom that I'll put out content and somebody reaches out to me and want to work with me, right? I call that the post and pray syndrome, where you post and you pray, you get clients. And it doesn't work like that. So the lead generation formula is this. You post your content. Yes, that's so you could build the trust and the authority and they feel good about this is what you do. But that is not the lead generation mechanism. The lead generation mechanism is, okay, I'm running ads. I am doing a webinar. I am doing a challenge. I am putting out a lead magnet. You see what I'm saying? These are other ways to attract your ideal client, and from that process, you can initiate a conversation. I'm following people online, or I'm engaging in groups and engaging on other people's posts to start a public dialogue that spills over into a DM, that where a conversation leads into an appointment of somebody saying, yeah, no, just based on this conversation, it seemed like you kind of got some of the pieces together that I'm missing. I'll be open to having a conversation with you. See, you'll get stuff like that. You'll get people who are open to that when you know how to do it correctly. And when you're following that process, so you need to be following the process of not just thinking that the content you're putting out itself is going to generate you the clientele. Generating the revenue is going to come down to what are the lead generation formulas? What are the lead generation mechanisms and techniques that you're using in order to indoctrinate somebody into your world? Like I said, if somebody's watching, if you're providing content, if you're doing webinars and somebody's showing up to the webinars, do you think they're going to be less likely or more likely to work with you? More likely. If you're doing a 1 day, 2 day, 3 day challenge, 4 day, 5 day challenge, and somebody's coming back over and over to watch content, you think they're going to be more likely or less likely to want to work with you after watching the content and listening to your philosophies and your ideas? More likely. If you're doing a course and you say, look, I'm gonna give out this free course. Most people are charging hundreds of dollars for this, but I'm not even charging this. I'm gonna give this course to you free. And you have somebody go through the course for whatever your niche audience is, whatever your niche is. Are they going to be more likely or less likely to want to work with you or sign up with you? Right? If somebody comes in through your funnel through ads and they get a chance to see the value and they're getting whatever you're providing them, are they more likely or less likely to work with you? More likely. If you have a paid group and somebody's going through the group and and they're getting the content and they're seeing the trainings every week, and you have a conversation with them, are they more likely or less likely to become a client? We could do this all day. If you're doing a live event and you're inviting them out and they stay with you for 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours, a whole day, and they see your philosophies, they see how you train, they see the strategies, and they say, this is what I need to solve my problem, are they more likely or less likely to want to work with you? We could do this all day. So that's what I'm saying, is that you have to have a specific process that you're using, that this process I know is they're going to be more likely to want to work with me following this process. It's not just post and pray and hope I get clients. So hopefully that makes a lot of sense. All right. So that's the first thing. That's what I really started doing. I said, okay, all right. So I said, the metric that I got to focus on is meeting with people. So I said, okay, let me meet with people, because once we meet, we have a bond. They really get an opportunity to see what I do. And at that point, they can make an informed decision and say, you know what? I feel like it's going to be best to invest my dollars with you, because I'm more likely to get this result than trying to do it on my own. Which is what you want people to say, right? That's literally what our industry is. It's saving people time and saving people money. Okay, but you should be able to present what you have well enough that they see that it is valuable. That's why understanding your audience is valuable and knowing your niche is valuable, and all of these other things. This is why this is valuable. Now, the script that I use to sell confidently, because I hear somebody out there and you're like, well, okay, Coach T, I see what you're saying, but how am I going to grow this and scale it if I'm not good at sales, right? How am I going to build this to 5 figures per month and I'm not good at sales? So here's the thing. Number one, you don't have to be great at sales or even really that good at sales. You really have to have confidence and clarity in what you're presenting. If you have confidence in what you're presenting, because you know that what you have works, because you've did it for yourself, or maybe you've helped other people with it, even if they were paid clients or even if they were free. And you not only, just have the confidence, but you have the clarity in where you're taking them. Nobody wants to sign up for something and You don't even look like you have your stuff together. You don't even look like you thought for 2 seconds about what you're going to teach them and the outcome that they're going to pay. Because a lot of these people are paying you hundreds or thousands of dollars. But this is why some people end up having a bad taste in their mouth about certain coaches or programs they went through, is because the person that sold them into the program didn't even think about or structure or organize the program that they were going to becoming a part of. So so if you have the confidence and the clarity, then you can win. But you don't have to be that good at sales. And then the third part of it, once you have the confidence, once you have the clarity, now we could talk about the client conversion script. The client conversion script is the script that I use to be able to generate over $850K in our business. I was looking at the numbers the other day. I said, wow, that's pretty cool. Like, since really being in this business, I've almost accumulated over almost $1 million worth of income. Like that's pretty cool. Right. And so with that, there is one script that I use that's called the client conversion script. And I kind of came across this because originally I was having these conversations and I'm like, yeah, I can help you out. And I was just blabbing away. I remember just one time I'm like, yeah, I can do this. And, I can help you out. No, this is what you need to do. And I'm talking a majority of the time. Now, if you know anything about sales, it's not about you talking a majority of the time. But I realized that's actually, when you talk too much on a call, it's actually an insecurity. It's an insecurity because you want to seem more knowledgeable and intelligent than you are. You want them to know I'm smart. You can rely on me. I know so much information. Let me share with you how much information I know. And then what does that end up doing? You think that that's impressing them, but all that's doing is overwhelming them. All that's doing is confusing them. And then when they confuse, they say, I need to think about it. This is a lot of information. I remember the one call I did, she was like, wow, this is a lot of information. You know what? Let me take what you gave me so far. Let me go try that. And then I'll come back. And then I remember another time, like, wow, this is great information. It's a lot to think about. Let me look over it and I'll get back to you. Right. And I'm like, man, I felt like I gave so much value. I felt like what I did was like, I gave him the juice. I gave him the sauce. And now you got to go think about it. And now you confused. I don't get it. I gave you everything. I gave you what I had. Well, it's because I was not following a script. I was not following a process. So because of that, I didn't realize that the way I say certain things matter. How I say it, what I say, what I decide to include, what things I decide not to include. Every little thing that I had in my program, I would say it overwhelming. I used to actually brag and say, look, there's 100 hours worth of content. I remember there's one program I was selling. It was like 88 hours. I'm like, you got 88 plus hours of content to go watch, 88 hours of video. And I used to wear it on my chest. And I used to say 88. And I realized over time that people were like, hold on, I ain't even got that much time. Like, this is like, whoa, this is too much. I don't have that much time to watch all of this. So these are the hard lessons that I had to learn over the years. But until I got a solid script, and I spend money, like one program, I spent like 15 grand to get to really learn sales. But I put together the script, and then that script allowed me to be able to present my program in a way that's refreshing, that's energetic, it allows them to be able to express themselves, and it allows me to be able to break limiting beliefs, but then also present my program in a way that they're going to feel served, supported, and they're going to be able to solve their problem quickly. Once I started doing that, boom, 5 figures a month. Number 3, scaling without a huge following. So this is one of the biggest misconceptions, that I can't grow my business and scale if I don't have a big following. Coach T, I ain't got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 followers. How I'm going to be able to grow? So everybody is so focused on the followers. They so focused on the likes. They so focused on the views that you realize that that's not currency. That's not currency. That makes you feel good. We all want likes. Trust me. I know I had my team on Instagram. I was hurt. I ended up getting shadow banned on Instagram years ago because my team was they didn't follow my process correctly. So they were out here and just basically DMing a bunch of people. And so it kind of messed me up with the algorithms. Right. So, I could have been, heard about that. I'm like, oh man, I'm not gonna be able to make no money because I'm not getting as much likes. I'm not getting this. I'm not getting that. But really at the end of the day, You don't need a huge following. You don't need all of this views and all of this engagement. This is good, and you're going to get it over time. Nobody starts off getting it. But what really is going to grow your business is your ability to generate leads quickly. This is how you're going to grow. It's two things: your ability to generate leads quickly and your ability to book appointments as fast as possible. Generating leads quickly and booking appointments as fast as possible. This is what's going to allow your business to grow. This is how you're going to make money. Leads is having somebody that you can contact. The best form for me is like when you have name, email, and phone number. That's like the holy grail, because you can get in contact with somebody via email, but you can also get in contact with somebody with their phone. People are more likely to pick up their phone. People are more likely to respond via text. But a lead could still be considered, people that you reach out to or you DM on social media. That could still be considered a lead because it's somebody that you can contact. But your goal is to book an appointment. So you want to take leads, people that are potential clients that you can contact, and you want to turn those leads into appointments. And those appointments, you can say, okay, great. I meet with 10 people. I want to meet with people a week. Okay, great. That's about two a day. I give you weekends off. I say 2 a day, right? If you can meet with 2 people a day, then if you're able to have one person see the value in what you have, then guess what? They're going to be willing to make that investment. And guess what? Your closing percentage is 1 out of 10. Congratulations. The problem is it takes people too long to book the 10. That's the problem. What if it took you 10 weeks to get 10 appointments? That's a long time. And most people are not even getting that. And I'm telling you, because I speak to hundreds of coaches, most people are not even getting that. To meet with 10 people, it'll take them like 10 months. But what if your closing percentage is 1 out of 10? You got to get a new client every 10 months. Even if it's 1 out of every 10 weeks, you got to wait 10 weeks to get one client. What if you was able to do that what if you were able to take what you did in 10 weeks and able to do it in 10 days or a week? You see what I'm saying? You will literally 10x your results. It'll come much faster. So this is why it's important to run ads. So this is the third thing I want you to write down: is experiment with a 30-day ad campaign. Experiment with a 30-day ad campaign. What this gives you the ability to do is go out and test. See, with my first couple of times, I didn't really understand the game. So I would spend money. I'd be like, oh man, I lost $300. I'll spend $10 a day. Oh man, I lost a couple $100. And I'll be all up in arms. Man, I lost $300, $400, $500, right? And I'm like, oh, it's over. I was begging on this to work. This was supposed to work. I'm not running ads again. I lost $500. But did you lose 500? Did you really lose 500? I would argue that I didn't lose 500. At the time, I thought about it because I'm like, man, this is like, I ain't really got the money to be putting in like that. And I'm putting in like my last to go do it in. But what you don't realize is that that's why I said experiment with the 30-day ad campaign. Experiment is the key word. Go and experiment. Because what that's going to do is that's going to allow you to see if your messaging hits. You'll know based on, oh, people are talking with this. Maybe what you're saying isn't compelling enough. Maybe you'll realize that you don't have any testimonies or they're not as strong. Maybe you'll realize that, oh, wow, you know what? My messaging is too broad. I'm trying to talk to everybody. So you know what? Let me try a message that's more catered towards this particular audience that I can get the best results for. See, that's what this is going to do. When people come in and you do get leads, you on the phone with them, you talk to them, ask them why they clicked, ask them what's compelling. If people don't buy, ask them why they don't buy. But this allows you to speed up the process. This is why ads work so well. So you're either going to spend time, or you're going to spend money. And if you don't have the time, you better have the money, or you're not going to be able to hit 5 figures per month the way you want to hit it. So if you got the ability to run the ads, that's going to be the holy grail. That's why all of the top people, whether it's a Anthony Robbins or Russell Brunson, or all of the top people you follow, have you noticed that they all run ads? You think that's a coincidence? No, because they know that is the fastest way to get in front of your ideal audience. That's the fastest way to grow and scale. So they're willing to put money behind it, because if Facebook alone has over 4 billion active accounts, like, spend some money to get in front of those people, because somebody Because this is what people don't realize is that you have a lot of people right now that's willing to pay thousands of dollars for your service. Right now, you have people right this second. You know what the problem is? They don't know you exist. They don't know you exist. Because theoretically, the best case scenario is if you could snap your fingers and the entire social media universe or the entire Facebook universe or the entire Instagram universe, all the instantly was able to see your message, instantly was able to see a video. All of the right people would say, "Oh, I need that." But the problem is because we're not running the ad, they don't know you exist. So you have many people that need you, but they just don't know you exist. And they don't know you exist because you're not running advertisements to get in front of them. That's it. You're not living in the same complex as them. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. They're not following you. So how are they gonna know you exist? So that is what we need to do to be able to scale without having a huge following. Okay. So experiment with that 30-day ad campaign. Hopefully you get a couple clients from that. You take that, you put it back, you spend a little bit more. You take that, you put it back, you spend a little bit more. And this is how you're able to spend more to be able to get more. All right. We did this with one of our clients, and literally she got a 10x ROI her very first week. We ran an ad. She was like, I want to put down 200. She said, I'm putting down $200 this week. Put down $200 the first week. First week, put down $200. We got her a bunch of leads. One of the leads converted. She had a $2,000 program. She converted her very first week. Turned 200 into 2,000 first week. That's the power of ads. All right. So that is what we're going to be focused on. So make sure you do the lead generation formula. You have to generate leads. You have to book appointments. That's key. Number 2, use the script, right? The client conversion script. That's all about asking questions. That's all about presenting what you have, presenting how you can help. That's all about presenting the offer of how you can help people. Okay. And then how to scale without a huge following is experimenting. 30-day ad campaign. Be willing to say, you know what? I don't know if this is going to convert, but I'm willing to throw $600 as an experiment. Experiments don't always work, but I'm willing to put the $600 down to get some data, and I can use that data in order to make my ads better. And that's all ads are. It's like getting the data, tweaking, and then eventually it hits, and then you get in 10, 20 ROI, X ROI. All right. So that is what we're going to be focused on. So that is what you're going to do. If you're stuck, follow those strategies and you're going to win. Slow motion is better than no motion. Let's work.